On today's episode of Locked On Avalanche, it is prediction time, everybody. Let's talk about the first round matchup with the Dallas Stars. How do we think that's going to go? And our predictions as a whole for the NHL playoffs. Let's talk about it. New episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. Thank you for tuning in, making this your first listen of the day. That's always appreciated. If you want to get in on the conversation, no better time than now to join our subtext. Link is in the show notes below. Chat with Kyle and I one-on-one. We get your opinion, predictions, everything Avalanche related. Share it on this very podcast. We're going to dive into the brackets as a whole. We're getting clarification for that. The only one that we're waiting on is this Montreal Columbus Blue Jackets final. And right now, as we're recording this, they're in the third period. Montreal is leading Carolina 3-1. All Montreal needs is a single point. They just need 1 point, and they are in. And it doesn't matter what happens tomorrow. So by the time we talk about that in our third segment, maybe that game will be final or even in overtime. Because if, like I said, if it goes to overtime, then that seals the deal. So we should have a full bracket ready to go when we talk about that in a little bit here. So
that's exciting. Live on air.
Yes. So stay tuned for that. But where we're going to start is where the Avs are, and that is against the Dallas Stars, of course. Tomorrow, after we're done here, I'm going to be recording with Joey from Locked On Stars. We're going to do our crossover. So you're going to be getting from both sides of the coin for the series. You and I right now are going to kind of just focus on the Avalanche side of things, where we think it's going to go. We'll predict what we think is going to happen. So that's tomorrow, the crossover with Joey from Locked On Stars. So tune into that. But let's get into it where we think this is going to go for the Avs, Kyle. Like I have Avs advantages. We did not disadvantages, but concerns that we had. We did about a week ago. So maybe the flip side of that. Or maybe if you just want to start on how you think this series is going to go as a whole. It is the one that I think everybody is looking forward to more than any other series in the playoffs for round one.
And, honestly, if you take a step back and you look at this, on 80% complete bracket as we're talking right now, it'll be finished at the end. But this is the matchup. In the West, this is the big one. This is where this is really going to tip the scales in the West. There's a series or two in the East that have this kind of potential, but this Colorado Avalanche Dallas Stars matchup, just the way the teams are stacked, how they're built, this is what you want. This is going to be good old-fashioned playoff hockey, and I'm excited for it. And yeah, we talked about our concerns, but when you look at this and you look at how both teams are constructed, there's a lot of things you could be looking forward to. And I'm extremely excited about this playoff series, and I do have some predictions on how this thing is going to play out.
Do you feel like this is the series where it'll have the tag of whoever wins it is going to the Stanley Cup Final, or maybe that's too direct, has the best opportunity to go to the Stanley Cup Final, because there's still good teams remaining. Obviously, they're not even the number one seed, either one of these teams. But it just has that vibe of, this could go the distance. And whoever wins it has gone through maybe their most difficult matchup, and it just prepares them for the next couple rounds heading into the Stanley Cup Final. It's not set in stone, obviously, but you are well seasoned if you come out of this series.
Yeah, and honestly, we're going to dive into it a little bit deeper in a minute when it comes to matchups and everything, but when you look at the whole thing as a whole, this is the one that you want to survive. And if you do, and we'll talk about it in a minute, does it give you an advantage or disadvantage? But this is going to it's going to test a lot of things for both clubs. When it comes to the Avalanche, I'll just zero in on this matchup, what it means. The Avalanche, this is probably one of the deeper teams I have seen for the Colorado Avalanche in quite some time. Deeper than 2022. If we're
pretty close.
Just
it's pretty close, yeah.
Chris, we just talked yesterday about adding Landeskog to the third line and who gets dropped. And these are names that you could all make a case for. Like Kiviranta has a place. Parker Kelly has a place. Like these are names that really mean something. Like 2022, you had Abe Kubel on the team. And like he eventually found a role, but it's a complete difference in talent when we're talking about players like Abe Kubel and Parker Kelly, Kiviranta, and like even VC. He's starting to find a little bit of role, but that's an Abe Kubel parallel.
Yeah.
But this team is deep, really deep, and Landeskog's back. That's we always like to have our emotional, like, win one for this guy, win one for this guy. Like, this is our rallying point. This is our mission 16W. This is our win one for Bork. This is what you want. And I like that storyline, and having Gabe coming back, being deep. I really like the Avs in the series.
So as far as, you know, the different departments, right? Your forwards, your defense, your goalies, and your special teams. There are advantages to be had for each team, but I don't feel like they are so far ahead of the opposition where there's one team that has like a definitive advantage. There are advantages. Like for defense, especially with Heiskanen out, like the Avs are the better defensive team right now as things stand. Forwards, I think you have to give it to Dallas, because even though the Avs are favored, or I shouldn't say favored, they are deep. I'm sorry. You know, the Avs are deep. I like Dallas. They can roll four lines consistently, and their time on ice is spread out like perfectly. And there's the overall points that they have, like just from top to bottom, is just spread out more, where yes, the Avalanche are a little bit more top heavy, but they were more top heavy. And a lot of those numbers are before the trade deadline, and like the moves were made. And have those things evened out a little bit more? A little bit, but you know, Cale Makar and Nathan MacKinnon are what drive this team, clearly. Where for Dallas, it's you can get it from many different angles, and you got to plug all of those holes and stop all those fires. And it's a task, one that the Avalanche are up for. So I think for defense, I think it leans towards the Avalanche. For forwards, I think it leans towards Dallas. And for goalies, if you look at the numbers, Ottinger and Blackwood are closer than people want to admit. They really are. So I almost want to say it's a wash for goalies. And people might say like, oh, what are you talking about? Go look at the numbers. Sure, there's spots where Blackwood is leading and there's spots where Ottinger's leading, but not by a lot. Not by a lot. So that's why this series is so fascinating, because there's advantages on both sides, but they're not so striking where the other team can't take advantage and the other team might struggle against it. It's going to be a great series because of all this.
And like I'm throwing all of my college out the window, and I'm speaking in like the phrases you never want to use as like a sportscaster, but like this is one you throw out the record books for. Like the way these two teams match up, both teams have had to deal with injuries this year and have had to adapt. Mm-hmm. And this is still like a freshish, newish kind of lineup because of Mikko Rantanen acquisition in Dallas. They're still trying to figure out how to implement him into the lineup. The Avalanche are going to be doing the same in the playoffs with Landeskog, how to implement Landeskog into their lineup. Right. Both teams have had, like the Avs told Cale Makar and Nathan MacKinnon, go watch your friend play his little minor league game, take the weekend off. Like the Dallas Stars had to like really, like their spot in the standings they had early on and they held it, but they played such a good brand of hockey all year long that they could take those little breaks. Like they have been a really good team. Like I've kept my eye on Dallas. Like that has been my team I've been watching. I have not watched the Winnipeg Jets like I probably need to. It's been Dallas. They've been scary all year long. And how they match up with the Avs is one of those, like in a series format, it's even like what you did all year does not apply, because these are going to be ramped up on another level. Like defensively, the Avs are deep. They know each other. but the Dallas Stars are deep and they had to learn together. And that's a lot of things, like that's playoff skills that you need. And I'm really excited to see what this looks like, especially around like turn game 2 or 3, when you really start getting your legs and start figuring out your opponent, where the experience in learning your opponent and adaptability can come. Because the Avs have shown they can do it, but they also believe in themselves a little too much. So what does Dallas do as that scrappy team that's still trying to prove something, and the Avalanche trying to get back to where they once were?
And the storylines in this series are just known, and the one that is at the top of that list is the Mikko storyline. You're going to hear that for however long this series goes. But the other one that you might hear is right now, again, another game that's going on as we're recording this. Dallas is up against Nashville, and there's about 11 minutes left in that game, and they're losing 4-1. If they end up losing that game, they will have lost 7 straight, 7 in a row going into the playoffs. Now, this game, they have nothing to play for other than it'd be nice to get a win here, guys, type of mentality that they might have right now. But they will have lost 7 straight going into the playoffs. And you can have that conversation about it doesn't matter how you're playing going into the playoffs, because and everybody wants to go back to when the Avalanche won the cup. I completely understand that, but come on, if you were on Dallas, you do not want to be losing that many games going into a playoff series. And with Miro Heiskanen out for at least the first game, that's what they're saying. I think they're being very smart about this with him. I think they know exactly when he's going to be out, but if they say he's out for the first round, then they're just the tone and the dynamic of this series just takes a shift. So I think we're going to do it game by game. And if he does return, which is possible, then that's just a boost for them, like Gabe Landeskog is a boost for the Avalanche. So I think they're playing that very the right way. I think they're doing that the right way. But still, losing 7 straight is not what anybody wants.
And especially because Dallas hasn't climbed the mountain all the way yet as a team. Like, as the Avs, we point back to, well, yeah, this is what it looked like when they won the Stanley Cup, because that's something they have done. Like, the Stars still have to prove they can climb the mountain and go all the way. They still believe. And, like, losing 7 in a row, like the Avs they came close. Like, they had overtimes and comebacks and shootouts, and, like, it got ugly at the end of the season. But Dallas, like, it's a little concerning. I get it, but you also don't want to be like, oh, well, we're just ready for the playoffs. No, this is also a time of learning. Like, Dallas fans, I know you're going to be popping over here. Like, you've got to start putting things together, because it's still a kind of a new lineup, and you need to start learning how to win those games, even when you don't need to. You need to start learning how to win games together in the playoffs, because it's not going to go your way, both sides. And like, that's why we were saying it was such a concerning thing. Like, the Avs shouldn't be losing these games to like Vancouver and going so close against, like, dropping that lead against Calgary. Like, you need to handle those games a little bit better with a little bit more pride, because you're going to need those lessons going into the playoffs. It's interesting, and maybe that is something they can flip the switch on in Dallas. And if not, I mean, that's blood in the water for the Avalanche, especially with the Dallas Stars injury concern.
Absolutely. So, all right, let's get our break in here, and then we'll get to our predictions. Like I said, we're gonna do the whole bracket, the whole playoff. So we'll get to our predictions on this series, obviously, and as well as our subtext people are chiming in on that as well. What we got next is there was one question left over from yesterday's episode that we didn't get to, that I thought was really good, and I wanted to mention it. If you're watching on YouTube, you pretty much already know what it is, because it's a bullet point. But it's Cale Makar and a trophy that people don't seem to be talking enough about, and should they? So let's talk about that next.
Do you have trouble sleeping? If so, you're not alone. That used to be me, lacking rest, tossing and turning. I was late for meetings. I never felt like myself. That's until I found Bare Mattress. Bare Mattress and their sleep recovery technology helped me fall asleep faster, as well as enjoy deeper sleeps. I felt like myself again, and you can too. Bear Mattress knows that every sleeper is different. That's why they have their sleep quiz on their website that finds you your perfect match. As a side sleeper, I matched with the Elite Hybrid mattress, and I've been telling everyone in my life they have to try Bear Mattress risk-free. You can sleep on your Bear Mattress up to 120 nights, and if you're not getting the best sleep of your life, you can get it refunded. They'll pick it up with absolutely no hassle. So go to bearmattress.com and use my promo code LOCKEDONNHL at checkout to get 40% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. You have to use my promo code on the very last page of checkout to get this discount. That's bearmattress.com. Use my promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 40% off site-wide. Bearmattress.com, promo code LOCKEDONNHL.
All right, so let's continue a little bit of a continuation from yesterday's episode, because this question was asked by Ethan over on our subtext crew, and I like it because I think this same exact thing. And he says, "What does a certain defenseman named Cale Makar need to do to get MVP votes?" He says in future years, but why not this year? 30 goals is a massive accomplishment, and I just don't see how D-men don't get looks like, say, Hellebuck is this year. He's right in that it, like, the MVP has kind of become like, it goes to the forwards, like the MVP or like the Heisman does, like as a quarterback, or even the MVP in NFL always seems to be like a quarterback. The MVP for the NHL just seems to be just geared towards forwards. And everyone's like, well, defensemen have their own award and goalies have their own award. Sure, that's true, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't get more. They shouldn't get noticed more for MVP, and they do every once in a while. Like Shesterkin was up for it a couple years ago, but you just don't feel like they throw him a bone every once in a while to be nominated, and then you just feel like they're not going to win it. Might be different this year. I think Connor Hellebuck has a legit chance to win it this year. But it's funny because I see a lot of polls and outlets saying like, oh, here's favorites for this, and for the Hart, you do see Quinn Hughes up there, not like in the top 3, but he'll get like 6% or like about 10% or less. And then you see who wins the Norris, and it's Cale Makar in a runaway. How I don't get how that matches up. How is Quinn Hughes up for an MVP percentage, but he's not going to win the Norris? And the guy who's going to win the Norris is not even in the conversation for MVP. Make it make sense.
Oh, me, Mr. Maselli, me.
I call on you, Mr. Von Doom.
Because the Vancouver Canucks don't have a Nathan McKinnon.
I'm so tired of that argument.
But
it's true. Like there is some truth to it, but yeah, go ahead.
That's why Quinn Hughes, yes, is the most valuable member of his team, but he is not the best defenseman. Like there is like Cale Makar is the best defender, but there are many days and many years he's not the best player on his team. And that's why if you're going for like an MVP, most valuable player, you look at the Vancouver Canucks, it is Quinn Hughes. Absolutely.
Sure. He's the most valuable player of his team. Sure.
But then you look at the Colorado Avalanche, most valuable player of the Colorado Avalanche, Nathan McKinnon, then Cale Makar, and you can interchange them depending on what night you ask that question.
Sure.
But that is like if you're tallying votes, 82 votes of the year, Quinn Hughes is getting 82 votes. Cale Makar is probably getting 41 because you alternate. That's why you see Quinn Hughes in that MVP, that Hart conversation, because yes, he is the motor driving the Vancouver Canucks. The Colorado Avalanche have multiple motors. That's why that conversation looks
very valid. Very, very valid point. But when Cale Makar does something that hasn't been done in 15 years or whatever it was, like I'm not saying like 30 goals is what should put him over the top or anything like that. It's his play. It's how he drives play. Like he is insanely valuable. But to answer Ethan's question, like what does someone like him have to do? Was it a couple years ago that Yossi, did he get to 100 points or did he get 99? Did he get stuck on 99?
I think he did.
I can't.
I
I
think he
think
did hit
I
100.
think he did get 100 points,
Yeah.
and I think Cale beat him that year in the Norse, if I'm not mistaken. If I have my years right, I think he did. So I don't know, because is it score 100 points and obviously play good defense? I don't know what the answer is. I don't feel like we're going to see it. I don't feel like we're going to. I think you will get a goalie win the Hart before you will have a defenseman win the Hart, whenever
And
that may be.
I feel like the honest answer, it's kind of twofold. Cale Makar is suffering from the Bednar effect. You're not going to be considered for the Hart on the Colorado Avalanche. My suggestion for Cale Makar would be go to Los Angeles, go to Anaheim, do what you do in Anaheim. And if you play like that at Anaheim as a defender, you are getting the Hart Trophy immediately, like around All-Star game, like that All-Star break, the conversation begins. But in Colorado, there are so many shiny things to look at. It's hard to justify Hart, but this would be the year. And honestly, this 30-goal season starts making this like a national talking point. And maybe this happens one year. Like we say, maybe Bednar wins Coach of the Year. But on this team, it's just hard to say you are the best player in the league when you also occupy the same ice as Nathan MacKinnon. And I mean, you have some incredible players. Like you have Lehkonen having great nights every other night. Like there's a lot of interesting players, but if he was anywhere else, probably 20 other teams doing what he's doing, the Hart conversation would be loud and proud for Cale Makar.
And not only Nathan MacKinnon, but who are you not mentioning? His defensive mate, Devon Taves. I think people take away from him for that too, that being his pairing. And I get it. But should it be so much that he's not in the conversation? I don't think so. I think he is that good, because we all want to say like, oh my God, he's doing amazing things. And he's generational talent and nobody's on the level of Cale Makar. Okay, but then he should be deserving of more than just saying he's the best defensive player in the league. He should be in the conversation of best players in the league, period, full stop. But what you're saying is 100% true, though. I can't argue that. So
yeah, and it's one of those, like, you have the blessing of Nathan MacKinnon being on that same line. It helps that out. Like you point to insert my favorite player here. Well, he doesn't have Nathan MacKinnon, or he doesn't have Cale Makar, and look at what he's doing.
Couldn't the opposite be true, though? Like, then why is Nathan MacKinnon getting up for awards for Hart trophies and stuff like that if he's playing with Cale Makar? I mean, it works both ways. So I don't
eliminate it where we can't get any awards ever again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, let's get our last break in here. When we come back, it is prediction time. You're going to get our 100% foolproof. Take it to the bank. Please don't do that. I'm totally being sarcastic because I'm terrible at these predictions. We'll do that next. Let's hear from Wonderful Pistachios. If you're looking for a snack that is both delicious and nutritious, crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. It's one of the highest protein nuts that you can find. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Kyle is the shelled man. And what is your flavor again, sir?
Jalapeno lime.
I will try that, but I am more of the unshelled honey roasted kind. Can't go wrong with that. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com right now to learn more. All right, sir. Let's get to some predictions here. We might as well start off right at the top. Well, let me check the score first. I want to see if this game is over yet. It is 3-2 now. The Hurricanes have pulled within 1. There is just about 5 minutes left. So we'll save the East for second, I guess. Yeah. And we'll do the West first. And why don't we get to subtexters? Why don't we pull the subtexters first? and see what this is. Obviously, just for the we're going to do the whole bracket, but what I asked them was just for the Avs Stars series. So we got Cody says Avs in 5. And he says overtime. I don't know if he just means the only the game 5 or all of them are overtime, which could happen.
Stop, Cody, stop.
So he says Avs in 5. Madam Battleaxe says, have you ever seen Clash of the Titans? This will go 7 games. It'll be rough and tough, but the Avs will take it in 7. Vargar is saying Vargar gave us a lot of info here. He gives 4 predictions. Landy will finish the series with 3 goals and 2 assists, including an overtime winner. Miko and Duchesne will have a strong series. Natius and Blackwood will have a disappointing series. He is so down on those two. And the Battle of DeBoer goes 7 games, and Nate will have a glorious chance, having been frustrated all series, missing the net, and go back to the bench and break his stick. But he didn't say who wins it. It says it will go 7 games. Vargar, you forgot the most important part. I need to know who wins it. I'll send him a message. Tell him he's got to give me that part of it.
I know we're linked. He's my brother. He's predicting Avs in 7.
Okay. Kay says, I think the Stars peaked too early. Hiskinen's absence will be felt. Val redeems himself, and Blackwood wins the goalie duel. Avs in 6, says Kay. Brandon says, I'm thinking Avs in 7. Shorzy. I don't know. He doesn't give one. Sorry. So, and then who's this last one here? This is Landon. Says Avs in 6. No. Oh, he says no. 4-2 Avs. So Avs in 6. If everyone is healthy by game 2 or 3, I think Avs in 5. I think everyone's going to be healthy in game 1, Landon. I don't think there's any going to be holdouts here. So
are we still waiting on Drouin, and we're still waiting on Nate?
I think the only Nate. No, I think you're fine with him. I think the only one that is really maybe the biggest concern is Manson. Yeah. But everybody else, from what I'm hearing, is good to go. I haven't heard that anybody is that questionable where they won't be ready for.
I know Nuke was absent on the last game, nursing a lower body.
They all were, yeah. So. I mean, they've this schedule. We were complaining all year long how Dallas is always having 2 or 3 games in hand on you, and at least I wasn't really looking towards the end of the season. Like, okay, well, I'm okay with that now. Yeah, it's basically a week off, and for some guys more than that. So that's that benefits them obviously. So. Let's get to our bracket. Let's start with that one, sir. We talked about it already, but let's get to our prediction for the Avs and Dallas. What are you thinking?
And I honestly, I took the burgundy and blue glasses off, and I really looked at this. This screamed Avs in 7, and it's not going to be a kind 7 either. It's going to be a survive 7.
Maybe this is the easy way out, but and I'm going to give this prediction on the crossover show, so you already know what I'm going to say. I think I go with it's going to be the home team. So if the Avs have a chance to wrap it up at home in 6, they win it. Okay. If they don't, I think Dallas takes it at home in 7. So those are my 2 predictions: Avs in 6 at home, or Dallas in 7 at home.
Yeah, I got a feeling about just how deep this team is, the Landeskog factor. Everybody buying in at the right time. You didn't put this team together to get bounced in the first round. I just feel like Avs in 7.
Which could easily happen. Yeah. I mean, they could definitely. I wouldn't just put a stake in them and say, like, oh, they're done. They don't have a chance in that game. Clearly they do, but that is going to be a tall order. So, but for the purposes of this exercise, we're putting Avs in the second round. Okay. Let's go to, we'll start right at the top here. Winnipeg and St. Louis. St. Louis is one of the hotter teams in the league. They finished the season on a really good run, got them into the playoffs, and they have a date with Winnipeg, who has not got over those, postseason hauntings. So what do you think for this?
Brother, I think this one might be testy. I think this one might be the second. And I honestly, I would not be surprised if St. Louis pulls the upset here.
I wouldn't either.
And I was going to call St. Louis in 6.
I think they are going to give them a series, but I don't think they can win it. I do think Connor Hellebuck's. Everybody just feels like because if a guy struggles in the postseason, he's always going to struggle in the postseason. I don't buy into that. Look at like the Peyton Manning effect. Like once you overcome it, like you're good. But there's got to be a time where he does. Is it this year? I don't know, but I wouldn't bet against him. So I do think it's going to be a really good series, though. So but I will go Winnipeg in 7 for that.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. The Blues have that magic factor that always seems to serve them well.
Right. Yeah. So that's where we're at for that. Okay. Vegas and Minnesota. What are we thinking for this one?
Nice story. Beautiful job, Minnesota, but Vegas takes this one 5 or 6.
Yeah, I that's going to be a rough series, I think, for Minnesota. I just don't think they have what it takes to hang with Vegas over the course of a series. This one, I think, could go 5.
Yeah,
I'll throw Minnesota a game, but I think of the series here, that might be one of the easier ones of the first round.
I agree.
LA and Edmonton.
This is LA, and Edmonton's got injury issues. And LA, they also have that magic factor. They're starting to believe they have an identity. And we just witnessed the Avs play them. They are a frustrating team.
They're good.
So I think the Kings are going to topple Edmonton.
LA is a really good team that I think people are just sleeping on.
Yep.
That people just are not paying attention to. So I think the Kings win this. I'll say I don't think it goes a full 7, so I'll say 6.
Yeah, 6.
Say Kings and 6. Let's just go through the whole West while we're doing this. So I have Winnipeg and Avs. You have Blues and Avs, right?
Yep.
Okay, so what do you got? Blues and Avs. Who wins that one?
I got Avs in 5 in that one. Like the magic kind of like the Avs start believing in themselves. They took care of Dallas. They feel confident, and like the magic, like you did the upset St. Louis. You knocked off number 1, and I think the magic goes away. Business as usual for Colorado. It's not going to be pretty, but they're going to go in about 5.
Okay. And like I said, I would have the Jets and the Avs, and I think the Avs that would be a tough series. That one could go another 6 or 7. But I would have confidence that the Avalanche could do that if they prove they can get to Hellebuck in the playoffs. Can they do it again? Sure. So I'll take the Avs there, like whatever 6 or 7 games. We'll see. And then on the bottom half of that, we both have Vegas versus LA, right?
You got loss versus loss.
It's true. Last versus loss. One different vowels, but yeah. What do you like in that one? That could be a good series.
Brother, I would not be so far-fetched, especially with the way Darcy Kemper is playing. I feel like the Kings might do it.
I'm kind of with you on that. I think it's going to be like boom or bust for them. Like if they prove that they can hang with Vegas early, they have made themselves a series.
Yep.
And they can win it. Vegas, as much as I hate to admit it, they are a good team.
Yep.
But yeah, I just feel like there's something about LA. Yeah. There's something about that team that I like how they play. So I'm with you. But I think that for me, that would be a 7-game series, I feel.
Yes.
So, absolutely. But I'll go Kings. I'll say Kings, 7 games. So I have Kings and Avs, and you do as well.
I do as well.
Okay. And we did not do this before. I have no idea where you're going with this, but Kings and Avs, what do you got?
And this is where I have the Avs going in 6. And this is going to be one
with you on that. Sure.
It's a respectable, like, hey, these guys are good. Like the handshake line, it's going to feel sincere, like a see you next year kind of thing. Like the Kings are going to prove themselves and jump a lot of like teams that we always talk about in the West every year, like your St. Louis's, your Minnesotas. Like the torch is being passed. The Kings are going to be for real, and their appearance in the Western Conference Final is going to prove that.
I'm with you. I think I'll go Avs in 6 in that one. So
yep.
We'll both put them into the final. And we will do. And I was curious if you were going to put them in like I was. When we wrap all this up, we'll just do another really quick one. We won't go through them all. But if it's not the Avs, who do we think it's going to be?
Yeah.
So we'll do that at the end. All right. On the East side, let's check the scores right now. Montreal has scored. So there's 1:40 left, and they're up 4-2.
La Habitant.
So So pretty good chance that they get in. So we'll start on the top. You got Maple Leafs and Ottawa. What do you like in that one?
Leafs in 6.
Yeah, I think Ottawa, good story. I'm happy that they made the playoffs. I like when teams who have not been there for a while finally make it back. But I think it ends there in round 1 for them. But I do think they're gonna push the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
I do. I think they're gonna push them a little bit, but I really like this Toronto team, so I got Toronto. The series we always get, the Lightning and the Panthers. What are you thinking for that one?
Panthers over the
With
Lightning.
Until I'm not tipping my hand here, but someone knocks them out to prevent them from going to the Stanley Cup Final, it's very difficult. Even though they have some injuries too,
Yeah.
I just feel like, but that thing's probably going to go 7. I think it's going to go 7.
I think it might be a little shorter than that, and this might be the end of the Tampa run.
Okay. Never know. They're well coached. Well coached.
Don't we know?
Yeah. Let's see here. We got 15 seconds left, so let's call it. So Montreal is in the playoffs. Wow. I don't think anybody had that at the beginning of the year. Nobody. But they get a date with the Washington Capitals, one of the best teams in the East. What do you think about this? I want to get your take on it first.
It's going to be a capital sweep.
I don't think so, man.
This would be the one series, like even if it was Columbus, I just feel like there, with the whole everything going around Ovechkin, like there's some mojo with that Capitals team, and I feel like it didn't matter who the opponent is. I feel like they were going to start really rolling because that is a good team.
Oh yeah, no, they are. How I think this is going to go is Washington's going to win those first 2 games at home. And everyone's going to be writing off the Canadians like, oh, they were just happy to be there. Great run. And they're just going to write them off. And then I feel like they'll win the next 2 games at home because that place is Bell Center's going to be going crazy. Absolutely bonkers. And I feel like they will win those next 2 games. So they will push it. They will push it to it. And maybe the Capitals win the next 2 and you know, it ends in 6. But I think Washington will win it. But I do not think that's going to be a cakewalk for them. I think Washington or the Montreal Canadiens will push them.
I'm drinking that Screaming Eagle Kool-Aid in Washington.
And then I know where this one's going to go for you. The Carolina Hurricanes and the New Jersey Devils.
Devils in 3.
Just get it over.
Carolina folds as an organization. They can't take it anymore.
I don't like this New Jersey team, and that's nothing against you.
You know, honestly,
yeah.
Don't tell my Devils friends, but I don't either.
Yeah,
I just can't pick Carolina.
They don't excite me in any way.
They turn off that offense and just unplug like no team I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. So I think Carolina is going to take that. So, all right, except for that one, I think we're all even here. So Toronto and Florida Panthers. What do you got? This is where I'm going to go against my own take here, and I think they're going to get knocked out. I'm going Toronto.
Ugh.
I am all in on Toronto right now. So I think Toronto.
Everybody take this right here, clip it, and put it every other time. Chris has said, I'm all in. This is the year.
It is. Please do.
It's never the year.
I'll
for
take
Toronto.
the lumps. And then Capitals. I got Capitals and Hurricanes. I've been burned too many times picking the Hurricanes, so I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do Washington here.
Well, this is where we realign because I have Washington Magic over. Even I picked them over my Devils because, again, I don't believe in this team making it far, and I just couldn't pick Carolina. Yeah. So this is where Washington takes down the Devils.
All right. So I have Toronto, Washington. You have Florida, Washington. So what do you got there?
I have Florida taking down the Washington.
Florida going again.
Yeah.
Again. Okay. Man, Toronto and Washington will be a very good series.
Ooh.
Very good series. But I think I could see this going either way, Kyle.
Yeah.
But I'm going to satisfy one of our subtexters out there right now, and you know who it is.
Yep.
I'll go with Washington. So I'll have a Avalanche final.
Yeah. And I'll have the repeat of 96.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And another sweep for you then?
No,
not this time. No,
not this time.
What do you think happens?
And this one's going to go 6. But it's going to go 6. I don't know what role Landeskog's going to have in this cup.
Okay. If it's Avs and Capitals, like that just seems like it's a 7-game series for me, and I can go either way. I'll pick the Avs to win it, obviously, but I could see the Capitals coming out on top of this, which would be a nice ending to a great season for Alexander Ovechkin.
You know what I mean? Career. He's skating.
Unbelievable.
I think this is it for him after
unbelievable. So, like I said before, if it's not the Colorado Avalanche coming out of the West, who do you have going?
I got the Kings.
You're just going to change. So you still think no matter how it goes out, you got the Kings will beat whoever.
From what I've seen in this, what I've seen in this Kings team, this is a long rebuild, putting things together. This team believes in what they're doing. It's a true power shift in the West. And if they get knocked off in the Western Conference Finals, or if they advance to the Cup, they are solidifying themselves as a top tier Western Conference team in this playoff.
Yeah. For me, I'll go back to what I said at the beginning of the show. Like, whoever wins this series, I'll take going to the final. So if Dallas ends up on top of the round 1 against the Avs, I think they make it all the way. As much as that will pain me, and I will be rooting ever so hard for the Capitals if that's who I would still have them going to the final.
If Dallas is in the Cup, I'll start watching NBA Finals.
Oh God, I can't sink that low. So there you go. So that's both have the Avs, sure, why not? But I think it's the Stanley Cup playoffs are going to be tested, right? It's not going to be a cakewalk. It never is.
And again, I'm doing this not as an Avalanche fan. Like, I really believe in this Avalanche team.
I do too.
Depth and everything. Like, they are one of the most superior teams in the West.
I do too. So that will wrap it up for today. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, where we're going to have the crossover with Joey from Locked On Stars. We'll dive deeper into this series, and he'll give his prediction because you already have mine. But we'll go from there. And then game 1 is on Saturday. I think they finalized that. I don't really think they finalized the time, but I think they did say it was going to be on Saturday. So we'll have to wait and see.
Midnight.
So, yeah, please don't. This is not Lake Tahoe, dude. We're not doing that.
It's WrestleMania weekend. Don't mess up my plans.
Oh man. So, well, we got a plethora of shows to come. So make sure you're tuning into all of them. But for this one, thank you for making it your first listen of the day. That is always appreciated. He is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We made it through another 24 hours where Sidney Crosby is that much closer to being a Colorado Avalanche.
Where's he in the playoffs?